Ladies and gentlemen, let me take a few moments of your time to make some announcement before the ceremony begins. To comply with the safety regulations, I'll point out the emergency exits in the Great Hall. For people in the upper tiered seating, there is an exit in the stairs behind you. For people in the lower tiered and towards the back of the hall, you should use the exits on the left and right of the hall. For people in the front, use the front exits. Please note the nearest green emergency exit sign. For those with small children, there is a soundproof crying room located at the rear of the Great Hall. The ushers in the hall will be happy to assist you if you need to access the crying room. A professional photographer will photograph each graduate as they receive their award from the Chancellor, and a copy of this photograph will be available to all graduates to access and share via their Facebook page. Portrait photography is also available at the graduate reception in the Brennan Room after the ceremony. As a courtesy to everyone in the room, we ask that you switch your mobile phones to silent. Graduates, the university issues invitations to complete the Graduate Outcomes Survey. This survey gathers feedback on your higher education experience to improve the experience of future students. We strive to improve the best university experience possible for our students, but this cannot be achieved without your valuable feedback. We would appreciate your assistance with this survey. Some of the terminology used in today's ceremony may be unfamiliar to you. To assist in your appreciation of the ceremony, we have provided a history of graduation and an explanation of the terms in the graduation book, together with a record of the presenters and those eligible to graduate today. The academic procession will enter the Great Hall in a few moments. When the procession enters, could you please rise and remain standing while we all sing the first verse of the national anthem. At the conclusion of the ceremony, please rise when the Deus Party rises and remain standing until the Deus Party and the graduates have left the hall. We hope you enjoy this very special occasion. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this wonderful occasion. To start, I respectfully acknowledge the traditional custodians, the Pambalong clan of the Awabakal people, on whose traditional land this campus is located, and I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. As Chancellor of this university and a graduate myself, I'm delighted to be able to celebrate this milestone in your academic journey. Graduates, you take with you today a degree from one of the finest institutions in the world. Newcastle is acknowledged for delivering excellence in education to its 38,000 students. Our degree programs are designed to meet the needs of business and industry today and anticipate those needs well into the future. As a result, the university rates highly for outstanding overall student education experience. That standing is underpinned by the university's ongoing drive to improve how we research, teach and learn, and collaborate with industry and employers. This year, the university started working on the new Honeysuckle City campus, preparing the site for the first main building's construction. That's scheduled for completion in late 2020, and that first stage will deliver cutting-edge facilities for the School of Creative Industries and an innovation hub. The Innovation Hub will promote greater opportunities for students and researchers to collaborate with industry and investors. The university is globally recognised for its research output. Indeed, many of our researchers are leading the effort to solve some of the world's great challenges. Among the university's research achievements this year is a $35 million grant from the Australian Research Council for a new Centre of Excellence in the area of mineral processing. The university is also part of a consortium of local and international partners to create a new $35 million Centre of Excellence in synthetic biology. Across all disciplines, from the sciences to the humanities, the university is recognised for research that delivers impact and innovation. Importantly, the university's focus on excellence in education and research sits hand in glove with a long-held commitment to equity. We offer the opportunity of education to students from all walks of life who have talent and determination. 1/4 of our students are from low socioeconomic backgrounds, and we have the largest number of Indigenous students of any Australian university. Bolstering this proud achievement is the recent appointment of Nathan Towney as Pro Vice-Chancellor, Indigenous Strategy and Leadership. In this role, he'll lead our Indigenous education framework and is also responsible for leading the implementation of our Indigenous employment strategy. Graduates, today's celebration recognises your completion of studies, but it also marks another important milestone, your entry into the UON alumni network, and you're in very good company. One example from this faculty is University of Newcastle alumnus Dr. Elizabeth Weaver, who completed a Bachelor of Nutrition and Dietetics in 1998 and a Doctor of Philosophy in Biological Sciences in 2007. Today, Dr. Weaver is an internationally acclaimed nutritional biochemist, author and speaker. Her PhD examined the biochemical and nutritional factors in children with autism, and her findings have changed the way the condition is treated in both Australia and New Zealand. You are now united with achievers like Dr. Weaver and the people sitting around you as an alumnus of this university. Our network of passionate and talented alumni stretches across the world, now numbers over 143,000 members in 135 countries. The network and its chapters offer unique opportunities to connect professionally and socially with other fellow alumni, and I really do encourage you to stay in touch. Today is the culmination of many years of hard work. The testamer that you'll be presented with shortly is much more than a piece of paper. It's a symbol of all you've experienced during your time here at the university. This includes an acknowledgement of the support of your family and friends who've been with you every step of the way on your journey to today. You'll also be presented with a pin that features the artwork of local Indigenous artist Soretta Fielding. This gift from our university illustrates the importance of education and learning through the use of traditional symbols of people gathered around a central camp place, which depicts the University of Newcastle. This will be presented to you by a member of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island community. To family and friends, we know that each of you is here to acknowledge the hard work of a very special person. We'd be very pleased, and I'm sure they would as well, if you let them know you're here with a cheer as they receive their degree. Your involvement brings this ceremony to life. Again, my heartfelt congratulations to each of you, our graduates, and I now call on the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Alex Zelinsky, AO, to introduce the occasional speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to invite Distinguished Laureate Professor John Aitken to deliver today's occasional address. Professor Aitken is both an academic leader and a global authority in the field of reproductive biology. In addition to his role as Pro-Vice-Chancellor of the University of Newcastle's Faculty of Health and Medicine, he leads the university's Centre for Reproductive Science and was formerly Director of the ARC Centre of Excellence in Biotechnology and Development. Professor Aitken holds a Bachelor of Science from the University of London, a Master of Science from the University of Wales, and a PhD and a Doctor of Science from the University of Cambridge. As the Pro-Vice-Chancellor of the Faculty of Health and Medicine, Professor Aitken has led education programs in 4 schools at 27 locations across New South Wales, managing one of the leading health and medical faculties in the country for education and research. Is a great achievement. And also at the same time, Professor Aitken has maintained an active research program. He leads a large team working in reproductive science. Each year, the reproductive needs of more than 120 million couples around the world goes unmet. Facing this challenge, Professor Aitken and his team are tackling the 2 ends of the reproductive spectrum, creating better methods of fertility regulation and curing infertility. As a recent example, his group has been working with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to develop novel forms of contraception for developing countries that simultaneously protect both against unwanted fertility and sexually transmitted diseases. On the other side of the reproductive coin, Professor Aitken and his team are focusing on the largely neglected area of male infertility, a condition affecting about 10% of the male population, both in humans and in major livestock species. His research is currently making a direct contribution to the diagnosis and treatment of millions of infertile patients worldwide, as well as improving livestock production in Australia and beyond. Recognising his contribution to his field, Professor Aitken has been elected as Fellow of the Society for the Reproductive Biology, the Royal Society of Edinburgh, the Royal Society of New South Wales, and the Australian Academy for Health and Medical Sciences, and the Australian Academy of Science. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Distinguished Laureate Professor John Aitken to deliver the occasional address.
Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, members of Council, staff of the university, families and friends of graduates, and most importantly of all, of course, the graduates themselves. First of all, let me begin by extending my warmest congratulations on your success in completing your degree programs. With the help of your family and friends, you have now met the stringent criteria needed to graduate from this university. You have successfully reconciled late nights, project deadlines, fear, doubt, insecurity, breakdowns, breakups, and very possibly hangovers in order to achieve your goal. You have now climbed the mountain and it's done. Except it's not done. As Churchill would have said, this is not the end, it's not even the beginning of the end, it's just the end of the beginning of your educational journey. As newly graduated nurses, midwives and doctors, you have just successfully taken the first steps on a journey that will take you into some of the darkest moments in your patients' lives, and you will have the responsibility and the privilege of guiding them into the radiant light of recovery. I very much hope that this will be a journey where you will have the opportunity to use your skills, your knowledge and your creativity, not just to deliver the conventional practices of the day, but to develop, refine and test new approaches to the diagnosis and treatment of disease that will leave your disciplines in a better state than you found them in. If you can do this, you will not only validate your own career path, but you will have laid a path for others to follow and build upon. You will have contributed to progress. You will have made a difference. Your journey will have been successful. My own journey began with the writing of a simple letter. And for the younger members of the audience, a letter is an old analog form of communication, which I believe you refer to as snail mail. This letter was to a Cambridge academic explaining, and I paraphrase here, that much as I enjoyed his paper on steroidogenesis in the corpus luteum, he had omitted to consider certain biochemical pathways, which meant that at best his conclusions were unsafe, and at worst they were wrong. I handed my letter to the snail and just forgot about it. I was nobody from nowhere. I was the son of a redundant power worker, aimlessly undertaking a master's degree in embryology just because I thought it was an interesting topic. I did not imagine for a moment that my biochemical reflections would gain any traction. It was therefore a great surprise when 2 weeks later the snail came back with a reply marked Cambridge. I opened the letter gingerly because I imagined that the opening phrase of this particular letter would begin, "How dare you?" But in fact, it wasn't like that at all. In reality, the letter was not the repository of rebuke that I had imagined. The academic in question thanked me for my insightful comments and indicated that if any time I should be in the vicinity of Cambridge, I should drop in for a chat and, being Cambridge, a glass of sherry. So I didn't hesitate for a moment. I didn't wait to be in the vicinity. I drove overnight to Cambridge, slept for an hour or two in a lay-by, and then, rather disheveled, knocked on the door of this particular academic and told him who I was and said, "I've come for the aforementioned chat and claim my glass of sherry." We had a couple of hours of animated conversation and essentially initiated a mentor-mentee relationship that has now lasted for more than half a century. At the end of the day, he offered me the opportunity to do a PhD in his laboratory. I was so overwhelmed with gratitude that I accepted the challenge without a nanosecond's hesitation and initiated 3 years of super intensive effort, during which I saw the dawn rise over Cambridge many times as I grappled with the difficult problems you inevitably encounter in research. At the end of the day, I secured my PhD within 3 years and went on to a postdoctoral fellowship at the Institute of Animal Genetics, working with Dame Anne McLaren, who arguably was the leading developmental biologist of her generation. Now, I know that very few of you will harbour a burning ambition to become a developmental biologist. However, there are some fundamental lessons in my story which I hope will be significant to you, will resonate with you, no matter what your chosen career path might be. The first lesson is that whatever you do in life, be fearless. Never be afraid to engage with the most senior people in your organisation. It doesn't matter whether it's a health district, a university, Vice-Chancellor, a branch of government or a commercial company. Because if you engage with them at an appropriate intellectual level, they will engage back. That capacity to listen, understand and reflect is precisely what made them eminent in the first place. Never let self-doubt stop you from asking the right question or engaging with the right person. Be brave, be bold, never hesitate to ask and never wait to be told. Lean forwards into the winds of fate. Seize new opportunities with both hands and put body and soul into the realization of your dreams. You only have one life, so use it wisely and never, never let fear frustrate your ambitions. The second lesson in my story can be taken from the attitude of the Cambridge academic. To his eternal credit, he did not shy away from my critical comments on his paper. He actually embraced them. He was not paralyzed by pride, but had the intellectual depth and humility to listen to what I said and respond positively to it. Your critics are not your enemy. Your critics are your friend. Praise is greatly overrated and only ever reinforces the status quo. To become a better professional, indeed, to become a better person, it's important to develop the resilience and self-assurance to be able to accommodate the voice of criticism. Listen to it, embrace it, work with it. Never fear of being evaluated or appraised. Understand that you can never be perfect. Imperfection is normal. We are all imperfect. But by listening to criticism, you gain a better understanding of yourself and an eternal awareness that will enlighten your personal path to becoming the best you can possibly be. And none of us can ask for more. If you live a careful life, avoiding exposure to situations where you might be criticized, you will never develop, you will never make a difference, and you will never contribute to progress. No matter what field of medicine or health you represent, true progress ultimately comes from the generation of novel, testable ideas. Ideas are the currency of our profession. So where do new ideas come from? How do we generate the dazzling new ideas that are ultimately going to improve the standards of clinical practice? At its most fundamental level, good ideas, insights, come from the bringing together of disparate pieces of information. In his landmark book, The Act of Creation, Arthur Kiesler referred to this process as bisociation, the union of two independent units of information to create a novel synthesis. This single book changed my life. It told me that in order to be creative, you cannot lock information away in your memory. You have to be constantly rearranging new facts in your mind, looking for novel, unique combinations that will ultimately inform the creation of new, testable hypotheses. One of the best examples of bisociation that I've ever come across comes from the field of obstetrics. Professor Sir Ian Donald was a remarkable man. After completing his secondary education in Edinburgh at Fetters College, he moved to South Africa, where he ultimately obtained a first-class honours degree in arts and music from the University of Cape Town. Following the death of his parents, he returned to the UK and trained in medicine at St Thomas's Hospital, London, graduating in 1939, just before the outbreak of war. After a distinguished war record, during which he was awarded the MBE for bravery, he pulled several airmen out of a crashed bomber that was on flames without fear for his own life. He ultimately became the Regius Professor of Obstetrics and Gynecology at the University of Glasgow in 1954. This was back in the days when universities were run by Professor Gods. I think these are officially known as the good old days now. As a result of which, he not only had to run an academic department, but also perform civic duties as befitted a man of his stature. One day in 1955, he was called upon to open the research department of a Glasgow-based boiler maker, Babcock and Wilcox. This was not something he really wanted to do. He had a pile of papers on his desk a mile high, a queue of patients out his door a mile long. He really didn't want to do this, but because he was the man he was, it was his civic duty, and he went. While there, he noticed engineers using ultrasound devices to look at the internal integrity of the welds that hold boiler plates together. And he asked, what are those men doing? And his host said, well, they're using ultrasound to look at the internal structure of the welds within the boiler surface. And he was suddenly seized by an incandescent flash of lucidity. If you could use ultrasound to look into the internal structure of a boiler, surely you could use the same principles to look at the internal structure of the human body. He raced back to Glasgow University, engaged the help of an engineer, Tom Brown, and in a beautiful example of interdisciplinary research, they fashioned the very first prototype medical ultrasound device. One of the first patients they tried it on was a woman who'd actually been diagnosed with terminal stomach cancer and was, according to her doctors at the Western Infirmary, close to death. With the aid of their primitive ultrasound device, Donald and Brown examined the patient and suggested that the diagnosis of a tumour was actually incorrect. What the patient actually had was not an ascites, but a very large ovarian cyst. A laparotomy was subsequently performed by Donald himself, and the diagnosis of a benign pseudomucinous ovarian cyst was confirmed. With some glee, I think because of the embarrassment it caused their colleagues at the Western General, they published the results in Lancet. And bolstered by their success, they went on to develop more prototype devices and to be used on pregnant women, and in so doing laid the foundations of obstetric ultrasound, a technology that has literally saved millions of lives across the world. It's a beautiful example of how biassociation works, the putting together of two very different pools of ideas. As Louis Pasteur so beautifully framed it, fortune favours only the prepared mind. So keep your eyes and your minds open. Embrace criticism, be fearless and work hard, and there is no limit to what you can achieve. The education you have received is not just a ladder to your own professional careers, but a ladder to your dreams. And no matter where you go on this journey, the University of Newcastle will go with you. You are our ambassadors, you represent us in the communities you serve, and you are the ones who are going to inspire others to follow your path. As Pro-Vice Chancellor of the Faculty of Health and Medicine, it's been an immense honour and a privilege to have helped provide the foundations on which your glittering careers will be built. Warm congratulations on your success. Please do not become strangers. Just go out there, deploy the knowledge, clinical skills and compassion that make you what you are, and let it be known that it was the graduates of 2019 who were relentless in their pursuit of innovation and excellence, and who ultimately were the ones that made a difference. Thank you.
Professor Aitken, thank you for what I regard as being a really outstanding address today, and I'm sure everyone in the audience, including our graduates, will take a great deal from it. I mean, the very fact of hearing of John's journey, academically and professionally, is worth listening anyway. But to glean the lessons that he's put in front of you is an extraordinary opportunity. To be brave, to look to embellish your ideas with the thoughts of others, particularly those of your critics, is a very important lesson to learn. And I think in giving us the example of ultrasounds and their genesis, it's very interesting to contemplate the world we're going into, where clearly we are going to go into a much more multidisciplinary world. And John's been a great advocate of that in our university, such that we now have a medical engineering degree course. We're in the third year of that this year, and it's massively oversubscribed and very, very successful. And as we develop this campus at Callaghan to be a STEM campus, for us STEM is science, technology, engineering, maths and medicine, 2 M's in Newcastle. It's a very exciting future, and John's perceptions will be extraordinarily important, and his support is extraordinarily important to its launching. John retires at the end of this year as Pro-Vice Chancellor in charge of the Faculty of Health and Medicine to concentrate on the next phase of his own personal research here. And I'd like to pay a very public tribute to the wonderful career he's had, both as head of the faculty, but also as a world-renowned researcher, with lots more to come. So, John, thank you very much indeed for your speech. Ladies and gentlemen, we've now come to a very important aspect of this ceremony, and for this I'm going to ask all of our graduates to please stand. Thank you. I'm glad that none of you had contrary ideas after listening to John. As Chancellor of this university, I now officially confer awards to all of those candidates whose names appear in the graduation ceremony handbook and have fulfilled the conditions of admission of that award. I wonder if everybody would now please join me in applauding the wonderful achievements of these graduates. Thank you all very much. Please be seated. I now call on Professor Elizabeth Sullivan, Acting Pro-Vice-Chancellor for the Faculty of Health and Medicine, to present graduates from that faculty.
Chancellor, a higher degree by research is awarded to a graduate who has successfully completed a program of study and which the defining characteristic is research. Doctor of Philosophy graduates have undertaken a program of independent, supervised study for the equivalent of up to 4 years of full-time study. These graduates have produced significant and original research outcomes, culminating in a thesis which has been independently examined by external expert examiners of international standing. These graduates have developed a substantial body of knowledge at the frontier of a field of work or learning that constitutes an original contribution. Candidates can apply their knowledge and skill to demonstrate autonomy, authoritative judgment, adaptability, and responsibility as an expert and leading scholar, with the ongoing capacity to generate new knowledge. Today, the University is proud to honour graduates who have satisfied the rigorous criteria for the award of Doctor of Philosophy. Chancellor, I present to you Shuzhang Chen for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dr. Chen's thesis is entitled Optimising Tissue Pathophysiology with Computed Tomography Perfusion Imaging in an Acute Ischemic Stroke. Chancellor, I present Dr. Chen. Chancellor, I present to you Pauline Gillan for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dr. Gillan's thesis is entitled The Experience of Undergraduate Nursing Students with End-of-Life Care and End-of-Life Care Simulation. Chancellor, I present Dr. Gillan. Chancellor, I present to you Gizahan Tesfaye Girma for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dr. Girma's thesis is entitled Maternal Mortality and Maternal Health Service Utilisation in Eastern Ethiopia, the Case of the Kursa District. Chancellor, I present Dr. Girma. Chancellor, I present to you Prabuddha Patinayaka. Dr. Patinayaka's thesis is entitled Endoplasmic Reticulum Stress and the Unfolded Protein Response in the Pathogenesis of Asthma. Chancellor, I present Dr. Patinayaka. Chancellor, I present to you Peter Sinclair for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dr. Sinclair's thesis is entitled Using E-Learning and the Theory of Planned Behaviour to Predict Australian Primary Healthcare Nurses' Behavioural Intentions in Chronic Disease Screening Practices. Chancellor, I present Dr. Sinclair. Chancellor, I present you Hu Cha Tian for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dr. Tian's thesis is entitled Multimodal Computer Tomography and Patient Selection for Acute Ischemic Stroke Intervention. Chancellor, I present Dr. Tian. Chancellor, I present to you Poonam Virati for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dr. Virati's thesis is entitled Role of Mechanical Forces in Asthma Pathogenesis. Chancellor, I present Dr. Virati. Chancellor, I present to you Trent Williams for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dr. Williams' thesis is entitled Nurse-led detection of adverse events following cardiac admissions and procedures in a regional Australian health district. Chancellor, I present Dr. Williams. Chancellor, I present to you Michael Shang for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dr. Shang's thesis is entitled Exploration and Application of Biochemical Markers to Aid Diagnosis of Central Nervous System Infections. Chancellor, I present Dr. Shang. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of the higher degree research graduates. Chancellor, now I present to you graduates who have satisfied the requirements of a postgraduate award from the Faculty of Health and Medicine. Graduating with a Master of Applied Management Nursing with distinction, Suzanne Glover. Graduating with a Master of Applied Management Nursing, Naomi Avis. Shauna Bergen. Ansu Chanana Kira. Jeffrey Fitzpatrick. Prativa Khatri. Angela Doro. Clarence Nyamura'a. Sebastiano Romano. Lois Watson. Kylie White. Graduating with a Master of Mental Health Nursing with distinction, Angela Davies. Julie Gallagher. David Jebtovic. Jamie Kutungal Jose. Justin Partridge. Seaman Gile Phoebe. Graduating with a Master of Mental Health Nursing, Taiwo Abraham. Yolinda Assur. Gloria Bauer. Talent Rifaro Chitenderu. Lindsay Donald. Esther Disvindu. Helena Elias. James Ganzo. Ashley Gillies. Jodie Gleeson. Gabriel Gomes. Natasha Jack. Alexandra Jameson. Josie Curavilla. Deo Layang. Julie McClure. Abraham Mujuru. Caroline Nade Luvu. Uzu Chukwu Ogoma. Marissa Pluck. Nandini Pothigyadu. Joy Saka. Naveen Saveo, Sanil Shrestha, Abraham Thomas, Ronnie Varkey, graduating with a Master of Midwifery Studies with distinction, Sally Hassler. Alison Jarvis, Clover Lewis, graduating with a Master of Midwifery Studies, Leanne Darville. Hannah Miles, Madeline Rogan, Lisa Tatterson, graduating with a Master of Nursing, Alam Aruwali, Hayley Batchelor, Jamie Chase, Catherine Cooper, Weng Fong, Yvonne Garari, graduating with a Master of Nursing Advanced Practice with distinction, Kate Greenaway. Rachel Kenny, Kathleen McClinley, Amy Parkinson, graduating with a Master of Nursing Advanced Practice, Layla Bloomfield, Lalita Chaya, Dambudzo Chikawar, Bethlehem Kabidi, Sandra McKendry. Scholastic Nikar. Catherine Sanyamandwe. Divya Sethi Thal. Graduating with a Master of Nursing, Nurse Practitioner, Julia Hibbard. Libby Nivison-Smith. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates from the Faculty of Health and Medicine at this time.
Thank you, Professor Sullivan. We'll now enjoy a musical interlude by Georgie Jones and Terence Koo performing Non je ne regrette rien by Charles Dumont and Michel Beaucaire. Thank you. Georgie is a graduate of our Bachelor of Music program. Terence is a University of Newcastle Bachelor of Music graduate with Honours Class 1 and the University Medal, also a Master of Arts in Music. Thank you both.
Thank you. Thank you.
Georgian Terence. What can I say? Très bien. Merci. I now call on Acting Pro-Vice-Chancellor Professor Elizabeth Sullivan to continue presenting graduates from the Faculty of Health and Medicine.
Chancellor, I now present to you graduates who've satisfied the requirement for a bachelor's degree from the Faculty of Health and Medicine, graduating with a Bachelor of Medicine with distinction. Wan Si Sun. Hao Han Tan. Graduating with a Bachelor of Medicine, Sam Yuk Thasi. Junji Chow. Mingxi Chi-A. Keiichi Gina Go. Stephen Golja. Han Hu Wei Ping. Lucy Judd. Yuji Aoun. Pu Ji Min Jamie. Pimvara Ratanama Stip. Narintip Shusheng. Tan Li Min. Yi Yan Tan. Xia Ming Wun Shu Tung. Eng A. Rafael Yeo. Graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing with distinction, Jane Austen. Marcela Granados. Marie-Therese Luneman. Sophie McCarthy. Karnam Nu. Graduating with a Bachelor of Nursing, Doyen Sola Asia Yi. Francisca Awuku. Kim Ho Chan. Yang Cheng. Crystal Cheng. Jessica Coleman. Onyinye Ibu. McKenna Groenveld. Noel Gueco. Gurdeep Singh. Jasveer Kaur. Sajita Kanal Kandariya. Kiranjit Kaur. Manki U Lung. Lam Ling. Ashley M. Hindu. Francesca Morelli. Patience Nge Na. Jody Ratnick. He Yang Swa. Dai Yang. Our Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates from the Faculty of Health and Medicine. Chancellor, now I present to you graduates who have satisfied the requirements of an award from other faculties. Graduating with a Certificate in Business Administration, Jane Bergen. Melissa Kyle. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates.
Thank you, Professor Sullivan. I now have great pleasure in inviting Ms Clover Lewis, who graduated a little while ago with a Master of Midwifery Studies, to speak on behalf of the graduates. Thank you.
Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, members of the Council, staff of the University, families and friends of graduates, and most importantly, graduates. It is with great honour this afternoon to be speaking on behalf of all the graduating students within the ceremony. Those who have achieved higher degrees by research, a Bachelor of Nursing, Midwifery and Medicine, and those completing a Master's in Mental Health Nursing, Midwifery Studies and Advanced Practice Nursing should be congratulated. To the students who have completed a graduate certificate in Applied Management and Clinical Nursing, and to those graduating in other disciplines, I wish to congratulate you all on the outstanding achievements of 2019. For some of us, choosing to study through the University of Newcastle may have been a lifelong ambition to commence the journey to become a registered nurse or midwife, or indeed to complete a university programme as a stepping stone to an alternative career. But for many here today, further studies at master's level has been driven by a desire to complete further education to enhance our professional skills within our field. Some of us may not have had a clear vision as to why they chose their course, but regardless of how you arrived here, it is a wonderful achievement that you can now share with your friends, families, colleagues and staff. What a wonderful role model you are to your children and those contemplating further study. Some of the graduates here today may be similar to myself. Having been a midwife for over 2.5 decades, and as my youngest of 3 children started kindergarten last year, I decided I needed a challenge. I excitedly applied online, including pages of my CV, my clinical roles in the UK, New Zealand and Australia, and within 6 weeks I had received a student ID number. Hold on a minute, I thought, I haven't completely decided that I should do a master's. It was really just an idea, but now I had a student ID. And so I was reminded that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with just one step. So I signed up for this, like many of you, full of enthusiasm. All my friends and colleagues joyously supported me. I only had one lingering thought, that maybe, as my longtime friend had suggested, I should have enjoyed having 3 children at school and taken some time for my husband and I to have an occasional day not at work together. Shift work takes its toll on everyone, but now there was a new challenge. Too late, I was signed up full-time. Now I thought that full-time meant you could complete it in the shortest possible time, but it also enabled you to work in a clinical role, as I did within the hospital, and run a busy household. Not taking too much notice of the difference between semesters and trimesters, I duly started the reading in February last year. 16 hours a week to study? Easy, I thought. No problem. This is until some of us realised we had 2 subjects to cover and then 4 subjects when semesters and trimesters cross over, and still had to get to work, actually see our kids and partners occasionally, sleep, eat, deal with dying pets, and sort out sick children and international visitors arriving unannounced when an assignment was due. Some of us had no idea about Blackboard, APA 6-style, MyHub and EndNote. So as a mature student, unaware of the challenges that lay ahead, we enlisted the support of the wonderfully enthusiastic, tech-savvy younger students, and some of us enrolled in upskilling courses at the Centre for Teaching and Learning, and vice versa. Many of the younger students have been encouraged by mature students and assisted in their learning by collaborating together. We have missed parties, school events, celebrations and holidays, and have felt locked inside a laptop and journals for weeks on end. But for the wonderful support of our partners, our children, our work colleagues, our parents and the wider community, we are truly grateful. To all the support crew here this afternoon, we could not have done this without you. The University of Newcastle has truly been a place where new opportunities have been created, where our potential has been maximised, and is a global leader distinguished by a commitment to equity and excellence. The lifelong skills we have gained through our studies will enable us to all become better practitioners, has enabled us to learn from experts within our field with quality leadership skills, And on behalf of all the graduates here today, we wish to thank you for the chance to study through the University of Newcastle. As famously quoted, the will to win, the desire to succeed, the urge to reach your full potential, these are the keys that will unlock the door to personal excellence. And with that thought, I encourage all our wonderful graduates to embrace the unknown, to strive to be the best you can, and be proud that as you stand here today, you have achieved something wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms Lewis, for a wonderful talk. You spoke very well on behalf of your colleagues, and thank you for sharing your journey, which is, it's not unusual, and it's one of our proud boasts that many people who come through our university come through different pathways, and it's always very interesting to see the synergies that occur between mature age students and their colleagues around them, and it really often generates a win-win situation where the maturity of our mature age students benefits their colleagues, and perhaps the electronic device skills of the younger ones enhances the mature age students' position, as you suggested. But it is a wonderful synergy and it works. So thank you for your speech. It was very, very helpful, I'm sure, to everybody here. I hope everyone's enjoyed today's ceremony, and I thank you for joining the university community in the celebration of the awarding of degrees. Thank you for participating in the ceremony. You certainly helped to bring life to that ceremony. Now, before I declare the ceremony concluded, I would ask that we do it the other way around this time and ask all of our graduates to remain seated and invite all of our guests in the audience and my colleagues up here on the stage to stand with me and applaud the wonderful achievement of our graduates. Thank you all very much. I now declare the ceremony concluded and invite you to join us for the graduate reception in the Brennan Room to continue celebrating this very special day together. And finally, again to our graduates, well done, congratulations, have fun and make a difference. Thank you.